I've had the most magical life. Not, it was not what I expected. It was not at all what I dreamed about.
In the pantheon of 80s television, one face radiated a unique kind of elegance and strength. Linda Evans. As the beloved Crystal Carrington on Dynasty, she wasn't just an actress. She was a cultural icon, the moral compass in a glittering world of backstabbing and betrayal. Her warm smile and iconic blonde hair defined an era. She was, for all intents and purposes, Hollywood royalty. For playing Crystal, she was nominated 5 times for a Golden Globe, winning in 1982, and took home 5 consecutive People's Choice Awards from 1982 to 1986, proving just how much the world adored her. But the story of Linda Evans is so much more complicated than any TV drama. Behind the glamorous image of Crystal Carrington was a life marked by shocking betrayal, a debilitating mystery illness, and crippling heartbreak. It's the story of a woman who reached the pinnacle of fame only to find it empty, a woman who had to lose almost everything, her love, her career, and her health to find out who she really was. For years, she vanished from the public eye, embarking on a quiet journey of self-discovery that few knew about. Now, at 82, after a long absence, her story is not just about a Hollywood legend. It's about a remarkable survivor whose journey of pain and courage will leave you breathless long before she was Crystal Carrington. She was Linda Evenstad, born in Hartford, Connecticut, on November 18, 1942. When she was just a baby, her family moved to North Hollywood, putting her right in the orbit of the industry she'd one day conquer. But the dazzling world of Hollywood felt a million miles away for young Linda. She was, by her own admission, painfully shy. It was that shyness, ironically, that set her on the path to acting. A teacher encouraged her to take drama classes, not for fame, but as a way to come out of her shell. It worked better than anyone could have imagined. At 15, she went with a friend to a commercial audition with no intention of trying out herself. Of course, she was spotted and got the part. That small accident opened the door to a career she never saw coming. Soon after, she landed her first TV role in 1960 on Bachelor Father. And in a twist that feels like it was written for a movie, the star of that show was John Forsythe, the very same man who, 2 decades later, would become her iconic TV husband, Blake Carrington, on Dynasty. Throughout the 60s, she became a familiar face on TV. But her big break came in 1965 with the hit Western series The Big Valley. She played Audra Barkley, starring alongside the legendary Barbara Stanwyck. Stanwyck wasn't just a co-star. She became a mentor. Linda, just 23 at the time, learned toughness and professionalism from the Hollywood veteran, even doing her own stunts alongside her. After The Big Valley, the 70s were a mix of guest spots and a few movie roles, including the 1980 Western Tom Horn, one of Steve McQueen's final films. She was a respected actress, but as she neared 40 in age, when Hollywood can be brutal to women, she felt her career was stalling. Little did she know, her biggest role was waiting right around the corner. In 1981, producer Aaron Spelling was casting his flashy new primetime soap, Dynasty, created to compete with the TV juggernaut Dallas. He needed a Crystal Carrington, the virtuous wife of oil tycoon Blake Carrington. Linda felt she was an unlikely choice, but Spelling saw something special. He took a chance on her and on an older Joan Collins to play her rival, Alexis. That decision changed television forever. As Crystal, Linda was the show's moral center, the embodiment of grace against the delicious villainy of Joan Collins's Alexis. Their on-screen rivalry became the stuff of legend. Those catfights, from trading insults to brawling in lily ponds, were defining moments of the 80s, drawing on the stunt work she'd learned from Barbara Stanwyck. Evans was always game for the physical scenes, even if Collins wasn't a fan, but off-screen. Linda insists there was never any bad blood. We never had one personal fight in the 9 years we did the show together. She later clarified, Dynasty was a global phenomenon, and Linda Evans was an international superstar. At her peak, she was one of the highest-paid actresses on television, earning a reported $100,000 per episode. She had it all. But as the lights of fame grew brighter, The shadows in her personal life were getting darker, and a private story of heartbreak was unfolding that would eventually lead her far away from the world that worshipped her while building. Her early career, Linda Evans fell head over heels in love. The man was actor and director John Derek, a charismatic and intense Hollywood figure 16 years her senior. It felt like a fairy tale. Linda had crushed on him as a teenager, even telling her sister she'd marry him someday. When they wed in 1968, it seemed her dream had come true, but the dream quickly soured. Derek was possessive and controlling. He didn't want his wife to have a career, insisting she turn down roles and make her life entirely about him. Deeply in love, Linda complied, putting her ambitions on hold. "To think of just me never entered my mind," she later reflected. He didn't just control her career, he tried to mold her entire personality. Linda felt she was living in a glass box he had designed. Beautiful, perfect, but voiceless. The final, devastating blow came in 1973. John confessed he'd fallen in love with someone else, a 17-year-old girl named Mary Kathleen Collins, whom he had cast in a film and renamed B.O. Derek. The affair was a public humiliation. Linda was in her late 20s, and the man she'd devoted her life to had left her for a teenager. The pain was unbearable. "I was only in my late 20s. I wanted to die," she admitted. "I didn't know what to do." She felt worthless, unable to compete with the youth of her replacement. The divorce in 1974 left her completely shattered. Her marriage was over, and thanks to her husband's demands, her career was dead in the water. Her agent was blunt. "You've been away for so long. How are we going to pull this off? Everyone's forgotten about you." It was her lowest point. But that very betrayal is what ultimately set her free. Looking back, Linda said with incredible perspective, "If I had stayed married to John, who didn't want me to work, I could never have done Dynasty." The split forced her to reclaim her own life. She briefly remarried to property executive Stan Herman from 1975 to 1979, but that relationship also ended. It was after this second divorce that Dynasty came along. The role of Crystal Carrington, a woman of incredible grace and resilience, was more than a job, it was a lifeline. It gave her a chance to channel her own pain into a character millions would love. She discovered the greatest revenge wasn't anger, but her own happiness and success. "My life turned around," she said. The heartbreak she endured became the foundation for her greatest triumph. Just as Linda had conquered the professional world, a new, hidden battle was beginning inside her own body. After leaving Dynasty in 1989 to find a more meaningful life, she retreated from the public eye. It was then that the first signs of trouble appeared. In the late 1990s, she was diagnosed with an unexplainable illness. Some reports called it chronic fatigue syndrome, but whatever the label, it was a debilitating monster that slowly drained her energy. Simple tasks like brushing her teeth felt monumental. The world saw a star who had gracefully retired, but behind closed doors, Linda was fighting just to get through the day. This physical struggle was soon magnified by a deep emotional crisis. In 2006, her world fell apart when her older sister needed a heart stent. Her younger sister was diagnosed with stomach cancer, and her best friend began suffering from heart failure and macular degeneration all at the same time. The grief and helplessness plunged her into a severe depression. "My life just fell apart," she recalled. "I didn't understand depression, and my blood pressure went up. It just became a nightmare." One day, after deciding to stop her blood pressure medication, she blacked out and awoke face down in the gravel, her face bloody. It was a terrifying wake-up call. Then another blow. A slipped disc left her in agonizing, chronic pain for years. And the depression returned with a vengeance. Life became a cycle of physical and emotional torment. She spoke with harrowing honesty about this time, admitting the pain pushed her to the edge. "I really understood why. People say maybe I don't need to be alive because it's so painful to be alive." And nobody had an answer, she confessed. The thought came from sheer exhaustion after years of invisible agony. To make matters worse, cortisone treatments for her back caused her famous hair to fall out. forcing her to wear a wig and hide yet another secret battle. It was a period of profound darkness, a time where she felt she was merely enduring life. But even then, her spirit refused to break. I said, there has to be an answer. This is not living. That resolve sent her on a journey toward healing. After exploring alternative therapies, a series of 4 orthoscopic laser surgeries finally relieved her chronic back pain. The road back was long, but it was a testament to her quiet courage. She had faced the abyss and chosen to fight her way back to the light. By the time Dynasty ended, Linda Evans was one of the most famous women in the world, but she felt completely empty. The show's punishing schedule had left her drained and disconnected. I knew I wanted more out of my life, she explained. In a move that shocked Hollywood, she decided to leave the show before its final season ended, walking away from her massive salary and global fame to find a sense of peace. Her search led her to the Pacific Northwest, where she bought a 70-acre property in Rainier, Washington. I have 70 acres with a river running through it, she said. We've got dogs, we've got deer. I live in heaven. This wasn't just a move. It was a conscious retreat from the spotlight to find out who she really was when no one was watching. In Washington, she embraced nature and solitude. She became involved with the controversial metaphysical teacher J.Z. Knight and her Ramtha's School of Enlightenment, seeking spiritual answers. She built a close-knit community with family living on her property and discovered simple joys, like cooking. Her passion for food led to her 2011 memoir and cookbook, Recipes for Life. Her life was no longer about scripts and cameras, but about family, friends, and tranquility. I never knew being alone could be so delightful, she said. Following her marriages, she had a highly publicized 9-year relationship with the New Age musician Yanni. From 1989 to 1998, Linda had called him out of the blue after falling in love with his music. Though they eventually parted ways, Yanni still calls her one of the most amazing human beings he's ever met. Since then, she has embraced being single, finding fulfillment on her own. She didn't disappear completely. She won the British competitive cooking show Hell's Kitchen in 2009 and returned to acting in the 2021 film Swan Song, but these appearances were on her terms. In May of 2025, a quiet public appearance brought her back into the social media spotlight. While fans celebrated her elegance, some online critics were harsh, a reminder of the scrutiny that never fades. But for most, her reemergence was a powerful statement about aging with dignity and authenticity. After a 2-year social media silence, Linda Evans made a surprising and heartfelt return in January 2025. At 82 years old, she posted a video to Instagram, her famous blue eyes sparkling with life. "Hi, I'm Linda Evans, and I want to wish you a happy new year," she said warmly. "I'm looking forward to sharing new ideas, thoughts, and pictures with you in 2025. See you soon." The video's caption captured the wisdom she'd earned. "May this be the year that you discover the beauty and wonder of who you really are," she wrote. "May we never stop believing in our dreams and fight for them till they become our reality." It was a powerful reflection of her own journey. The response was overwhelming. Fans flooded her with thousands of loving comments. "Wow, did you hide in a time capsule?" wrote one. Another added, "You are one of the most beautiful women of all times." Linda was deeply touched. "My dearest friends, I feel so blessed," she wrote back. "All your loving comments and warming words really touch my soul." This renewed presence wasn't just a hello. It hinted at more to come. Her talk of new ideas and big plans has led to speculation that new projects are on the horizon. But her return isn't about reclaiming old fame. It's about sharing the grace and resilience she has cultivated over a lifetime. At 82, she stands as a powerful symbol of survival, a woman who navigated fame and tragedy to emerge, with a message of hope that resonates more deeply than any TV script ever could. If Linda Evans's story of resilience has inspired you, show your support by liking this video and subscribing for more untold stories of Hollywood's greatest legends. Don't forget to share this with others who appreciate a true story of survival. And let us know in the comments what you admire most about Linda's incredible journey. Linda Evans's life is a powerful testament to the human spirit's ability to heal and find light in the darkest of times. She was television's golden girl, the icon of grace as Crystal Carrington. But her true legacy isn't in the fiction she portrayed, it's in the raw, often painful reality she lived. Her journey through public adoration, private heartbreak, and debilitating illness forged a strength that is both inspiring and real. She walked away from the peak of Hollywood success to find something more valuable, herself. In her quiet retreat, she battled her demons and rebuilt her life on her own terms. Today, at 82, Linda Evans is more than a beloved actress. She is a survivor, a sage, and a symbol of hope. Her story reminds us that the most powerful dramas are the ones lived off-screen, and that true success is measured not in awards, but in the quiet, resilient peace of a life authentically lived.